Welcome back. If you watched part 1, you already know the foundation. Total silence is your power move. Real transformation, not performance. Upgrading everything they'll never access again, and erasing them from your story completely. But foundation is just the beginning. What I'm about to show you is where most people fail. They do the work, they transform, they go silent, but they break too early. They peek at their phone, they check if the person is watching, they post something subtle to make sure they're seen. And that one moment of weakness destroys months of work, because it reveals you're still playing for their attention, still seeking their validation, still hoping they notice. And the moment they sense that, you lose. What I'm giving you in this part are the strategies that separate the amateurs from the untouchable. The exact timeline that creates maximum regret. The psychological mechanisms that make your absence an obsession. The moves that ensure they hear about you without you saying a word. And the final level, becoming genuinely unavailable even when they come crawling back. If you haven't subscribed to Hungry for Success yet, do it now, because this is the content that doesn't get taught anywhere else. This is the ruthless truth about making someone regret losing you. Let's continue. Number 5. The 6-month blackout creates the perfect storm. Here's the timeline nobody tells you. Regret doesn't happen immediately. It happens in stages. Week 1, they feel relief. They made the right choice. They're free. Month 1, they're curious. They check your social media. You're not posting. Strange. Month 3, they're confused. No posts, no updates, no trace. Where did you go? Month 6, they're obsessed. You've become a ghost. They need to know what happened to you. Most people break during month 1. They post something to show they're fine. They reach out for closure. They let the person see they're still in the game. Fatal mistake. You give them relief. You confirm they're still in your head. You eliminate the mystery. The 6-month blackout is strategic. It's long enough for them to move through all their emotions, long enough for their new situation to lose its shine, long enough for them to start remembering the good parts, long enough for nostalgia to set in, and when nostalgia sets in, regret follows. Miyamoto Musashi, the legendary samurai, wrote, "Perceive that which cannot be seen with the eye." The most powerful moves are invisible. Your absence is an invisible move. It's working while you're doing nothing. Here's the strategy. Commit to 6 months of complete invisibility to them. No social media posts they can see, no mutual hangouts, no updates through friends, no digital footprint they can track. You disappear from their reality. During this time, you're doing the real work, the transformation, the building, the upgrading, but they see none of it. To them, you've vanished. The psychological mechanism is the Zeigarnik effect. People remember uncompleted or interrupted tasks better than completed ones. When you disappear without resolution, you become an uncompleted task in their mind. They can't close the loop. They can't know what happened to you. That gap becomes an obsession. And at month 6, they break. They reach out. They ask mutual friends. They search for you. And that's when they discover you're not the same person. But by then, you're unavailable. Number 6. Date someone better or let them think you are. Here's the nuclear option. Nothing makes someone regret like seeing you with an upgrade. Not just any upgrade, an obvious upgrade. More attractive, more successful, more everything they told themselves you couldn't get. Most people rush this. They rebound immediately to fill the void. They date down and post it desperately. It confirms the other person's decision. See, that's the best they could do. Wrong approach. You wait, you heal, you transform. Then you date someone who makes them question reality, someone who makes them ask, how did they get that? Or even better, you don't date anyone, but you let the mystery imply you are. You're seen at high-end places, you're photographed with interesting people, you're living a life that suggests you're unavailable because you're occupied. The truth doesn't matter, the implication does. Charles Darwin understood strategic selection. Quote, "It is not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent. It is the one most adaptable to change. You adapted, you evolved, and now you're selecting from a better pool. Here's the execution. If you date, date with strategy. Someone who represents upgrade in the exact areas they valued. They cared about looks, visual upgrade. They cared about status, status upgrade. They cared about intelligence, intellectual upgrade. If you don't date, create mystery. Be seen in situations that imply options. Be mentioned in conversations that suggest desirability. Be unavailable in ways that make them fill in the blanks. The mechanism is social comparison. Humans measure their decisions by comparing outcomes. When they see you with someone better, they measure their current situation against it. When they see you thriving mysteriously, they imagine scenarios worse than reality. Either way, they lose, and you win. Not because you got someone better, because you became someone better, who attracts better. People will call this petty. Let them. Those people don't understand the game. You're not doing this to hurt anyone. You're doing this to demonstrate value they were too blind to see. Number 7. Achieve the goal they said you'd never hit. They said you'd never build that business. They said you'd never lose that weight. They said you'd never get that position. They said you'd never amount to what you claimed. They limited you. They doubted you. They made you feel small. Here's your revenge. Achieve it. All of it. Not despite them, because of them. Most people let doubt destroy them. They internalize the criticism. They believe the limitations. They become the small version others predicted. That's exactly what the doubter wants. Confirmation they were right. But you're going to make them a liar. Every doubt becomes a target. Every limitation becomes a challenge. Every you can't becomes watch me. Napoleon Hill documented this across hundreds of successful people. Every adversity, every failure, every heartache carries with it the seed of an equal or greater benefit. The seed is motivation. The benefit is proving them catastrophically wrong. Here's the approach. Take every criticism they voiced, every goal they mocked, every dream they dismissed. Write them down. These are now your non-negotiable targets. Not suggestions, not maybes. Targets. And you hit them systematically. They said you'd never make 6 figures. You make 6 figures. Then 7. They said you'd never be attractive. You transform your body until you're undeniable. They said you'd never find better. You become so high value that better finds you. The psychological mechanism is achievement as evidence. Words mean nothing. Results mean everything. When you achieve what they said was impossible, you don't need to say anything. The achievement speaks, and it says one thing clearly. You were wrong about me. Not in words, in reality. And reality is undefeatable. People will hear about your wins. They always do. And when the person who doubted you hears, the regret will be physical, because they'll realize they were standing next to potential greatness and chose to walk away. Drop "I'll prove them wrong with results" in the comments. Number 8. Let them hear about you, never from you. Here's the sophisticated move. You never tell them about your success. They hear it from everyone else. That's the key. When you tell them, it looks like you're trying to prove something. When they hear it from others, it becomes undeniable truth. Most people can't resist the urge to show their ex their wins. They post strategically. They accidentally let them know. They engineer ways to make sure the person sees what they're doing. That's amateur. That's obvious. That's transparent. Real power is third-party validation. You become so successful, so transformed, so elevated that people naturally talk about you. And eventually, that talk reaches the person who left. Not from you, from their friend, from a coworker, from social proof they can't deny. Balthazar Gracian wrote in 1647, "Don't show your wounded finger, for everything will knock up against it. Don't show your success to the person who left. Let the world show them." Here's how this works. You build in silence. You win in private. You transform without announcement. But you're strategic about social proof. You're on podcasts. You're featured in articles. You're speaking at events. You're building a reputation that travels. You're creating success that's too loud to ignore. Not for them, for you. But the side effect? They hear about it from multiple sources at different times until it becomes impossible to deny that you're thriving without them. The mechanism is credibility through third-party endorsement. Self-promotion is questioned. Other people's promotion is believed. When 5 different people mention your name to them, when they see your face in places they didn't expect, when your name carries weight they didn't anticipate, the regret becomes inescapable. Because they can't dismiss it as showing off, they can't rationalize it as fake. They're confronted with evidence they can't deny, and that evidence says one thing: you didn't just survive without them, you flourished. Number 9. Become unrecognizable to mutual connections. The most powerful moment is this: when mutual friends see you and don't recognize who you've become. Not physically, energetically. They remember the old you, the one who was hurt, the one who was confused, the one who was lost after the breakup. And they see someone completely different, someone with different energy, different confidence, different presence. Someone who makes them think, "What happened to you?" That's when you know the transformation is complete. Most people change but keep the same energy, same insecurities wearing different clothes, same neediness with a better job, same desperation with a better body. The package changes, but the essence stays weak. Real transformation changes the essence. You become fundamentally different. Carl Jung understood, "I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become." You chose to become untouchable. Here's what this looks like. You walk into a room and the energy shifts. You speak and people listen differently. You carry yourself like someone who has seen the abyss and came back stronger. You don't explain yourself anymore. You don't seek approval anymore. You don't need anything from anyone anymore. That shift is visible. It's palpable. And when mutual friends see it, they report back. You won't believe how different they are. They're like a completely different person. I barely recognize them. Those reports get back to the person who left, and they create doubt. Did I leave the wrong version? Who did they become? Would I even recognize them now? The psychological mechanism is identity disruption. They left a specific version of you. They have an image in their mind. When that image is shattered by reports of transformation, cognitive dissonance occurs. They can't reconcile who you were with who you are. That dissonance creates obsessive curiosity, and curiosity leads to regret. People will tell them you've changed, and they'll need to see for themselves. But by then, you are not available for viewing. Number 10. Build a life they don't recognize. Here's where it gets vicious. You don't just improve your life, you completely redesign it. New city, new circle, new opportunities, new version of success they can't comprehend. Most people stay in the same environment, same city, same job, same friends, same routine, just slightly improved. That's not revenge, that's incremental change. Real revenge is complete reinvention. You build a life so different from the one they knew that if they saw it, they wouldn't believe it's yours. They knew you working a 9 to 5, you're an entrepreneur now. They knew you in their small town, you're in a major city now. They knew you struggling, you're thriving now. They knew your ceiling, you broke through it. Lao Tzu taught, "When I let go of what I am, I become what I might be." You let go of who you were when you were with them and became who you were always meant to be. Here's the execution. If possible, physically relocate. New environment, new identity. If not possible, restructure everything. New career or business, new social circle, new daily routine, new standards, new everything. The person you were with them dies. The person you become is someone they never met. The mechanism is complete discontinuity. When there's no thread connecting old you to new you, they can't find footing. They can't reference the past. They can't say, "That's not who you are," because they don't know who you are anymore. And that unknowing creates the deepest regret, because they realize they didn't just lose you, they lost the potential to witness who you became. Drop "They'll never recognize my life" in the comments. So there's the second wave, the 6-month blackout that creates the perfect storm. Dating someone better or letting them think you are. Achieving every goal they said you'd never hit. Letting them hear about you from everyone except you. And becoming unrecognizable to the people who knew you both. You're not the same person anymore, and they're starting to realize it. But here's where it gets lethal. Because everything you've done so far has built pressure, created curiosity, planted seeds of regret. But tomorrow, in part 3, the final part, I'm giving you the closing moves. The strategies that ensure when they finally break and reach out, you're completely unavailable. How to build a life they don't even recognize. The mindset shift that turns pain into gratitude. And the ultimate truth. Why the best revenge isn't making them regret at all. It's becoming irreplaceable to someone who actually deserves you. Part 3 is the completion, the final level of Untouchable. If you haven't subscribed to Hungry for Success, you need to do it right now. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, because Part 3 drops tomorrow, and it's the difference between transformation and total transcendence. Drop "almost untouchable" in the comments. Tomorrow, you complete the journey. This is Hungry for Success. Part 3 tomorrow. Stay silent, stay committed. The final moves are coming.